Hey guys, my name is Ravens. This is Morgan, and we are starting a podcast called Flock on the Pod. And we are going to go through, and first we'll talk about the roster. This is week one, so we'll talk about the full 53-man roster, see what we like, see what we don't like, and then we'll go through week one and preview our game versus the Jets on Sunday. I guess let's start with you, Morgan.
Yes.
What do you like? What you don't like about our 53-man roster?
Well, I think there's a lot more to like, especially this year. Last year there's a lot of injuries, right? A lot of injuries, and this year we went out and got a lot of depth moves in the secondary, and especially at the running back position, signing Mike Davis and Kenyon Drake. There's a lot to like about this roster. I think it's a very well balanced roster. I'm a little bit scared of course, the wide receiver position. It some guys could be a surprise. I am a little bit higher on James Prochet and Devin Duvernay, so they could be a nice little surprise, or they won't be a surprise and it'll literally just be Rashad Bateman. So that's like a weakness. Also, I'd like to see our front seven become a little bit better pass rush, but I do think guys like Odafe Away will have a very very good year, breakout kind of season. But other than that, I mean, I'm a little bit worried about the offensive line, but we made a lot of, we made a lot of moves offensively, getting Morgan Moses through the draft, like Tyler Linderbaum and Ben Cleveland. Um, but honestly, this is a very nice roster. Besides maybe like the wide receiver position and the and a little bit of the pass rush. This is a very solid roster though, and of course you have star-studded guys like Lamar Jackson. Our secondary, when healthy, is I think the best in the entire league with Marcus Williams, Marcus Peters, Marlon Humphrey, and then Chuck Clark. So this should be a very good defense and a very good offense. So
Yeah,
the roster is amazing, I think.
yeah, I agree. I do like our roster. I was kind of disappointed that Tyler Batty wasn't the RB4 and that it was that our RB4 ended up being Justice Hill, which is kind of disappointing. I thought Tyler Batty had a better preseason, so I thought he would make it over Justice Hill, but it is kind of disappointing. That as well as our wide receiver for it looks to be Demarcus Robinson, which I really like. I do like Demarcus Robinson as our wide receiver for behind Duvernay, Prochet, and Bateman. And then going to the defensive side, it's kind of weird because right now our two edges are Odafe and Justin Houston. I don't know. I got to recheck, but I don't know if we have any other edge rushers besides those two. And do, if we don't, then I am kind of bummed that we don't have that another edge because Bowser and Ojabo are both on the IR, and David Ojabo, yeah, Ojabo's on the IR, and Dalen Hayes is on the practice squad. So besides that, I do think we have a really good roster, which is a whole lot better from last year when we were like, oh no, who's the cornerback two going to be between guys like Tavon Young and Anthony Averett, and Marcus Peters is out. And with the running back position, considering our two guys last year were Freeman and Murray, and that was a whole disaster. So thank God we went for J.K. Dobbins, who looks to be healthy week one, which I'm very excited about. And then follow him is Mike Davis and Kenyon Drake. And Kenyon Drake, while disappointed that he was cut by the Raiders, it's funny that we had both two Raiders cuts on our roster, and Kenyon Drake and Demarcus Robinson. But even then, both have been pretty good. All right, moving on to week number one. What what are your expectations going into week one? I want to see some.
Um, to touch on something a little bit about the rosters real quick. We
Uh,
also still have Gus Edwards coming back after he gets situated. He's gonna miss the first 4 games, but I think Gus Edwards is still a very very valuable asset to this team.
yeah,
Um,
definitely.
and and I like Demarcus Robinson. I think he looked pretty impressive during that preseason, the third preseason game. I cannot for the life of me remember who we faced the third preseason.
Washington.
Washington. Thank you. But Demarcus Robinson looked pretty freaking good, and I like that he's our fourth guy. Um, and yeah, edge wise, it I am a that's why I said, the pass rush is a little bit concerning because we have some guys on the IR, or yeah, on the injury reserve slash on the practice squad who I wanted to see actually like be on the starting 52-man roster. But I think we're gonna be fine. We've always been a very great defense. Moving on to week one, though, we face the New York Jets. And although, it's any given Sunday, I am pretty confident that we are going to win this game. Um,
Hey, it's Joe
especially
Flacco.
since we are facing Joe Flacco. But I mean, let's be completely honest though. He is definitely out of his prime. Um,
Yeah.
so I think our defense should handle him nicely. I think the only thing we really have to worry about, I guess, is the tight end because we, for some reason, just could not defend the tight end at all last year. I mean, one, we were injured, like brutally injured all over the defense, but they do have Uzama,
Yes, yes,
if that's how
CJ
you say
Uzomah,
his name,
starting
and
Bengals.
then Tyler Conklin, who I think both will be very valuable to the Jets, and I think
Mm.
those are probably the biggest guys we have to really look out for. Um, other than uh, offensively, I mean, they have some guys, CJ Mosley still there, um, Williams on the defensive side for them, and then of course Sauce Gardner, their rookie. But I think this should be when they're a young, inexperienced team, and we usually take care of teams like that, very young, inexperienced teams who are not, really haven't done anything, and they need more time, right? We usually take care of those kind of teams. So I think we should win this game. Um, what do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I kind of agree there because going back to when Robert Saleh was with San Francisco, and he always ran like a lot of, and the 49ers always ran a run heavy offense with with Juszczyk and Kittle, and I
Yeah.
think the Jets will probably try to mirror that with Conklin and Uzoma, and now they drafted Brees Hall, who
Yeah.
a lot of people were very high on. So Brees Hall, Michael Carter are their two running backs. And hopefully guys like Travis, I know Travis Jones was questionable week one, but I'm fingers crossed he's ready to go. It'd be really valuable to have Travis Jones with Calais Campbell, Jesse Matibike, and Michael Pierce to have all four of those guys on our pass rush to not only get the Flacco to take him down for a couple of sacks, but to stop the run. Because that'll be very important, knowing their two
Yeah.
running back scheme. And so that's what I'm feeling for our defense. And then for our offense, we gotta we're probably gonna we're probably gonna go run heavy again like last year. And this time, unlike last year, we can't start slow. We have to we have to get the run game going, and we have to work it on that. And I think with Pat Ricard and J.K. Dobbins and Mike Williams all healthy, we should be able to take care of the ball and run run it better than what we were last year with a banged up offensive line and weak run game. Also, Ronnie Stanley was healthy for practice this week, and he apparently Harbaugh said he expects him to be good to go week one. So our offensive line will be Ronnie Stanley, Ben Powers, Tyler Linderbaum at center, right guard Zeitler, and then right tackle Morgan Moses. And hopefully that should be a good enough O line to get guys like J.K. Dobbins and Mike Davis and Kenyon Drake to run game to help get open into open space and to make sure that we can get into their secondary without any problems like Quinton Williams or Quincy Williams getting to them right before they can do much damage.
Yeah. The offensive line is the biggest thing I'm looking at all year for the Ravens because I mean, as good as Lamar Jackson is, he never really he was always amazing. He played amazing, but he had his MVP year, and we went 14-2 when we had an amazing offensive line. When Ronnie Stanley was fully healthy all season long, when we had like a very good offensive line, we had a amazing year, 14-2, and Lamar Jackson had his MVP season. So obviously, our offensive line is a huge part of this freaking offense. So that's the biggest thing I'm looking for, um, this entire season, not just this Jets game, but I am definitely going to be looking for that. And I think, with this one, mm, w- what do you think the score is going to be at the end of the game? Like, what do you think would be the final score of the game?
I have a feeling it's gonna be like a 24-17 game, like a 24-17, 24-14, where it's not like a big gigantic shootout, but it's not gonna be like a slugfest either. Like, but I think both offenses, yeah, no matter how good our defense is, we should be. I don't expect us to only get like to only give up like 7 or 10 points a game. Even though our defense is good, we we should be able to stop them to put up like 17, 20 points a game. Like I don't expect the defense to come out there and 10 points a game. I don't expect that. That's unrealistic for any defense, no matter how good they are, to keep them less than 10 points a game. So I think it's like 24-17 or 24-14. Like not shootout, but not a defensive slugfest either.
Yeah, I was actually kind of I was the first score that came in my mind was 24-14 also. So we were like, we're connected on that. Um I wouldn't be surprised if this did come out to be a blowout by the Ravens, but I also don't want to count out the Jets either. I'm not counting out the Jets either because, like I said before, it's any given Sunday. But I also wouldn't be surprised if the Ravens just went out there and Lamar Jackson was like, depending if he doesn't get his contract this Friday, just goes out and like, oh yeah, This is why I deserve the max. I deserve to be one of the highest paid players ever, which he should be paid by now. But
Yeah,
we
the
won't get
resign
we don't
deadline
have
is
to get.
Friday.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the resign deadline is Friday.
so they got to hope that they can get the new deal done with Lamar Jackson before Friday. Because if they go through this entire season and Lamar Jackson has another really amazing year, they have
Yeah.
no choice but the franchise tag and give him a multi-year contract. They have to get this done this year because who knows how big the contracts are going to be next year when they have no choice but the franchise tag and give him what he wants.
I know this is the first episode and we haven't really like caught on a lot of ground, but my preseason prediction is that the Ravens will win the Super Bowl. That is my preseason prediction. I think I'm going all out there, and I'm saying we're winning the Super Bowl. And if Lamar Jackson is, not signed and he wins the Super Bowl, guess what? He's going to be paid the highest player. He's going to be paid as the highest player in the NFL. And I don't want that to happen because that's a lot of freaking money that we need to use somewhere else, in other places. So I sign him now, give him what he wants now. Don't worry, the salary cap and everything will go up as the years go by. Um, we have to sign him now. We have to sign him now. And I
Yeah.
know we have a little bit of a hot take for the first episode or first week,
Yeah,
but
exactly.
I had to say it.
Yeah. Also going back to the roster, even though the wide receivers are very weak, I do like our tight end core. I do like Likely as the tight end too going into the year. Is why I do like Boyle, and I do think he's more of a blocker. As a receiver, if it's late in the game and we need two tight ends that can both receive, uh, if when we need to get into those pass heavy situations, I trust it to be Andrews and Likely all day as our two wide receivers.
Yeah, I've been watching Likely for 2 years in Coastal Carolina, so I know what Likely has brought. And when he came to our team, I was ecstatic. Hopefully, we can have a little bit of like a Hayden Hurst and Mark Andrews kind of relationship in 2019. Yeah, well, yeah, 2019, where they were kind of like both sharing the thing. Of course, more so to Mark Andrews because he's the number one receiving threat on our entire offense. But I can't wait to see what Likely can do on with this team, and I expect big things from Isaiah Likely. Um, so with that, let me give a couple of player of the game. Who do you think will be the player of the game against the Jets?
Mm. Player of the game, that's tough. I want to go obvious and say Lamar Jackson, but I want to, but I don't want to go and say that right away. I'm gonna go instead with Mark Andrews. I think if the Ravens will have success offensively, I think it's gonna come down to the passing game. And because of that, Mark Andrews will get a lot of targets and a lot of receptions. On the defensive side, I'm gonna I'm gonna go bold and I'm gonna say it's gonna be Calais Campbell. I think he's gonna provide a lot of pressure, especially with the pass rush. and with the amount of pressures and with him getting to the quarterback, it's going to leave guys like Odafe Owe and Travis Jones open to allow them to get inside and either sack Joe Flacco or stop the run game.
So I'm gonna go with the opposite. I'm gonna go with Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson is either one gonna get paid and he's gonna prove why he deserves that contract, or he's not gonna get paid and he's about to sling the ball and like you should have given him all money. Here's an amazing performance. He's gonna go off against the Jets, especially since the Jets aren't really, known to be a good defense whatsoever. So I think Lamar Jackson's gonna have an amazing job both running and passing the ball, and I think he's gonna have like 200 over 200, like well over 200 passing yards and well over 100 rushing yards. So, and I think that's going to be, he's going to be the player of the game. And then defensively, I think I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go with Odafe Owe. I think he's my breakout player for this Ravens team this season. I think people, this will be the first game where he shows signs of like, oh yeah, I'm a star in this defense as well. I'm the next best pass rusher. For the Baltimore Ravens. I think Odafe Owe will have the defensive player of the game.
Yeah. I guess before we end this, I guess we'll go with the underdog of the game. Do you think that flying under the radar that will like completely break out either this game or in a future game? What do you think is going to be that underdog player? Is honestly, I'm gonna go with Patrick. I really like. I do think he made a lot of improvements in 2021. And if this is the year that he breaks out and he ends up becoming a star, I think Patrick Queen will be the underdog player this year.
I like that pick. I like that pick. Underdog. That's actually a really, really good good question. Shoot. You know what? I've always had a special place in my heart for Devin Duvernay. I just love kick returners. I love speedy receivers. So I think Devin Duvernay could have a very big game this Sunday. So I'm gonna go with Devin Duvernay as my underdog pick. I think Devin Duvernay will have a very nice week. Very nice week.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I really like Devin Duvernay, and I really do think that he will have a really good game. And especially he'll prove to everybody who doubted the receiving core why he's a good number 2 option next to Bateman. So yeah, think we can end it here. Any final words?
Any final words? Man, it's good to have first of all, football season back. I love football season. It's amazing. Second off, to have the Ravens back. There's something about the Baltimore Ravens that makes my heart pump every Sunday morning or afternoon. It's really amazing experience. I can't wait to see the season. And obviously, super big prediction. I have the Ravens winning the Super Bowl. I have the Ravens winning it all, which is a very hot take. So I hope it comes to fruition. I can't wait to watch the Ravens, have a very good game and absolutely, dominate the Jets. But maybe. What about you? Any last words?
Last words. I'm really excited for the Sunday. Show Joe Flacco why we moved on from him back in 2018. And with that, I'm really excited to see what we could do, get him shaken up so that he sees a guy like Calais Campbell in his face. He starts to panic and then he throws it right to Marlon Humphrey or Kyle Hamilton downfield. So yeah, hopefully we do well this Sunday. I think that's everything. Thank you for coming on. And we'll hopefully do this next week.
Of course. Have a great day, everybody.
Peace.